Okay. Now, as for scopes, the bullet doesn't match up with the scope. Okay? Like I said before in the other video, when you slug your barrel, you find out the exact size of your barrel. And actually, you want to slug your barrel again after, I think it's like 10,000 rounds. Because every time you fire, you're going to be wearing this. I mean, it's so small that like it's going to take like 10,000 rounds before you'd even notice a difference. But you just want to keep that bullet, identical to your bore. Like if your bore is, I'm just going to throw, it's just not at all accurate. Let's say your bore is 1 inch. Okay, you're going to want a 1.0001 inch bullet. Because you want it slightly bigger, very, very slightly bigger, just enough to where it catches that rifling perfectly and will spin perfect. Because every time you fire, it's going to wear down. I think it wears down like 1/1000th of an inch every round. I think it's something like that. You know, I mean, somebody did figure this stuff out. Of course, it also varies on your bullet, varies on your load, varies on anything on your bullets. Whether you molly coat your bullets, whether you don't coat your bullets, whether you're firing jacketed, whether you're firing lead. You know, there's 1,000 different, things. But that's why you have different sizes of bullets. I mean, and then you got weights. Like on my poster back here, and 300 Winchester Magnum, they have 150, 150, 150, 165. They're the same size. Just the lead composition inside is a little bit different. Make it a little bit heavier. And that's for different power levels, different trajectories, and all this other stuff. But anyway, now your scopes. Your scope, okay, it's called dope. I have no idea where the term came from. A bullet does not fire in a straight line, okay? So, you got your scope here. Your scope sees in a straight line to where your target is. Now your bullet's actually going to fly in an arc, called a trajectory. Okay, blue line is your bullet trajectory. Okay, now your scope has to be matched to your trajectory, which most scopes can change, adjusting the windage and elevation. But what you also want to do is you also want to match your bullet's weight, to have the best terminal velocity at your target. Like a 100 grain bullet traveling, let's say 100 yards, is going to hit with, I don't know, 5 pounds of pressure, or 5 pounds per square inch, and be traveling at 1,000 feet per second. But a 110 grain bullet is going to be pushing a lot more power, but it's also going to take more power to get it there at the same amount of pressure. So you're going to have more recoil. So that's all has to be figured out. And also, it's going to have a different trajectory. Okay? It's going to be able to fly faster, so this might actually be shorter or higher, and it's going to change. And you can actually do this. Let's say you got a 300 Winchester Magnum, okay? You set a target up at a fixed point, and you're going to fire 158 grain, jacketed hollow points, okay? You adjust your scope to hit dead on your target, dead center. Put a little X mark, put a little dot, whatever you want. But it's going to group everything in that circle. Now switch to 165 grains, and that same target on that same rifle with everything exactly the same except for that round, it's going to shoot differently. That's what doping your scope's all about. Now, what would I use? I don't know. I'm not a sniper. I've fired sniper rifles, but that's it. Like I said before, my personal thing would be to go for a semi-automatic. But I prefer the 308 round. There she is right there, 308 Winchester. 150 grain, 165 grain, she's like 300. I've not had enough experience firing sniper rifles and all that to where I have what I would like. I would like to one day build a sniper rifle. The 308 Remington 700 action. It's because it's so much stuff that fascinates me. And I don't know if there's any better videos on YouTube explaining this, but extreme long range competition is amazing. There's so much stuff you have to take into effect. There's the wind at your barrel. There's wind every 12 feet, down to your target. Everything matters. I'm not joking. These people take into effect the turning of the earth. Okay? That's how serious these guys are. They actually have mirage things on their barrels because the heat coming off the barrel will shift where you think your target is. So they got mirage indicator things on them that you can call them to tell them whether it's really here or if it's here. But I hope that explains it. Gun Guy 0, Sea Salt 78, Catman 351, thanks for your questions. Peace out.